What genuinely took place with Jeremy Lin? Upsetting. Standing in front of a sizable crowd in Taiwan, Jeremy Lin started to cry. Despite the applause from his large group of supporters, Lin broke down in tears and said, "Man, it's hard. Life is difficult." Welcome back to our channel. We are back with another informative video, and today we will be talking about all Jeremy Lin. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's begin. Lin, who joined Toronto Raptors in middle of the season and went on to win a title, acknowledged that he didn't feel any satisfaction from it. After the season, "I had to prepare for this Asia trip, which was the last thing I wanted to do," Lin said in his speech. "The waiting game. I smiled for 6 weeks because I knew I would have to. I would be forced to discuss a title I didn't believe I deserved. I would have to discuss a future I'm not sure I want, and it's simply embarrassing, to be honest. It's hard." He remarked, "If I have a son, I don't want him to make the NBA." To clarify his position further, "You don't have to deal with celebrities, and you don't have to live your life knowing that everyone can see all of your shortcomings." His remarks ignited a discussion in the sports community. Why was Lin whining about his lifestyle when he has earned over $50 million in his career and has a degree in economics from Harvard? The tragedy of his basketball career holds the key to the solution. Lin, who picked up the sport at his neighborhood YMCA, excelled throughout his high school, momentarily helping Palo Alto High School triumph over other competitive Californian high schools. And Lin kept up his improvement, rising to the top of the Californian playing field. Lin was selected first-team All-State and North California Division II Player of the Year after his senior season, which saw him guide his team to a 32-1 record while averaging 15.1 points, 7.1 assists, 6.2 rebounds, and 5.0 steals per game. But things were already going south for Lin's tail. Despite his remarkable accomplishments, Lin didn't earn a single Division I basketball offer despite sending his CV and game footage to numerous Pac-12 and Ivy League colleges. Lin accepted a non-scholarship offer from the less prestigious Harvard because he had other few options. He had to demonstrate his membership once more. After being referred to by an assistant coach as the weakest kid on the team during his freshman season, Lin slowly improved and was selected to the All-Ivy League second team during his sophomore year. Lin was only beginning to feel the intolerance and discrimination plaguing the sports world today, and he's awaited his NBA opportunity. Don Nelson, the general manager of the Mavericks, allowed Lin to compete in the NBA Summer League, giving him a chance to showcase his skills. And as quickly as teams glanced at Lin after the NBA draft, they inquired about his services following the Summer League. Rodrigue Beaubois, an incredibly agile and gifted first-round pick, was supposed to be Lin's backup on the Mavericks Summer League roster. Still, by the time the tournament ended, Lin had outperformed Beaubois. But the encounter between Lin and John Wall, the first overall choice, stuck out to NBA officials the most. Lin showed he could guard well adequately while destroying him offensively with his playmaking acumen and fearless driving prowess, although Wall was the significantly better athlete. Lin was released in 2011 despite never being permitted to participate in an official workout for Mark Jackson, the new Warriors coach. The Houston Raptors and Daryl Morey acquired his services. Despite displaying promise during his D-League trips, Lin was intentionally prevented from playing for the New York Knicks despite signing a contract with them. Lin gained control of the game after scoring his first point on an aggressive drive to the basket to start the second quarter. Even though Lin's name was ubiquitous in the basketball and sports world, Kobe Bryant, a famous player for the Los Angeles Lakers, stated he was unaware of Lin's accomplishments. In the 2 years that followed, NBA players' first 2 steps were timed by Morey and his analytics team. According to Morey's research, Lin had the NBA's fastest initial 2 steps, which is a feature that distinguishes good athletes from weak ones. A few weeks after Lin's rise to overnight prominence, the Knicks in New York replaced coach Mike D'Antoni with Mike Woodson in March. Lin was unlocked by D'Antoni, who made room for him to attack the rim and perform pick and rolls. Therefore, it is evident that although Lin liked playing in New York, the Knicks didn't feel the same way about him. In Houston, Lin was a part of the team's rumored new era, which would include an accelerated offense led by their starting point guard. But when the Oklahoma City Thunder made guard James Harden available, Morey seized the opportunity and selected him with the 3rd overall pick. Kevin McHale, the Rockets' new head coach, chose to move Lin away from the ball and put it in Harden's hands. Here is where Lin's NBA journey turned terrible from inspirational. Lin was demoted to playing off if Harden, a position he struggled at owing to his poor shooting skills. The Rockets discovered a better version of Lin in Harden, which was more robust, effective, and durable. By the following season, Patrick Beverley, who was a better match next to Harden because of his shooting abilities, replaced Lin on the bench. The tragic thing is that Lin put up some of the finest stats of his career while Harden missed games due to injuries. This features a 38-point effort, a 34-point, 11-assist masterpiece, and a record-tying 9 3-pointer performance for the Rockets. Lin's career declined once he was traded to Los Angeles. Like Mike Woodson made the offense flow exclusively through Carmelo Anthony, Lakers coach Brian Scott simplified the system by handing the ball to Kobe Bryant. Given that history tends to repeat itself, Lin, who had his best three-point shooting performance in Los Angeles, once again found it difficult to get along with a star who dominated the ball. Lin expressed his anger in interviews when asked why teams kept playing him off the ball despite being a proven pick-and-roll ball handler. Lin immediately fell out of favor in Los Angeles, so these annoyances would never be allayed. Videos of Kobe Bryant raking Lin across the face and slamming him to the ground, only to be called for a standard foul of Weasley, Johnson, and several Clippers punching Lin in the beginning, causing his nose to bleed profusely, or of Jason Terry blatantly pushing and tripping Lin, right in front of the official, went viral overnight. Despite all of his past difficulties, Lin was given a chance to coach his club in Brooklyn, New York, a location he was familiar with. The Nets extended Lin's 3-year, $36 million contract, reuniting him with Mike D'Antoni's former assistant Kenny Atkinson from the Lisanity era. Lin had a solid overall campaign, averaging 14.5 points and 5.1 assists. Lin was the focal point of the rebuilding Nets. Lin had another problem, though, and this one was nearly wholly beyond his control: the wounds. The minor ache is added up until Lin played in just 36 games and lost more than half of the season due to injury. Lin injured his hamstring 3 times in one stretch of the season, significantly reducing his play. Nevertheless, Lin had above-average stats per 36 minutes compared to other starting caliber point guards: 21.3 points, 7.5 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and 1.7 steals. The following season, tragedy struck Lin once more. The Nets had high expectations for the 2017 and 18 campaign because they had teamed Lin with former second-round pick D'Angelo Russell in the backcourt. Before adding Kyrie Irving, the Nets moved on to play Russell alongside Caris, LeVert, and Spencer Dinwiddie, although the original backcourt in Brooklyn was supposed to be Lin and Russell. Lin was traded to the Atlanta Hawks to get rid of his money, where he spent most of the 2018-19 campaign as Trae Young's backup. Lin was cut by the Hawks, allowing him to join another team despite playing well on the court, appearing in good physical shape and mentoring Young. Lin joined the Raptors, but he hardly ever played. As the Raptors battled their way to the 2019 NBA title, his presence on the club meant absolutely nothing. Lin received no offers during the winter, and the NBA had given up on him. Lin sobbed on stage in Taiwan for this season. As some have speculated, he didn't cry because he wanted a bigger deal or more attention than he already had. No, Lin cried because as a young Palo Alto boy with big dreams, he saw players mock his accomplishments, and officials swallowed their whistles for him, a term that refers to failing to call fouls. Injuries prevented him from ever again realizing the potential that first made him an international superstar. It is telling that Lin, who probably motivated more Asians and Asian Americans to play basketball during his NBA career than any other player, bar Yao Ming, wishes for any of his children to steer clear of the activity. In other words, the suffering brought on by racism and discrimination in the sports world does not justify the possibility of becoming a global star. This is the narrative of Jeremy Lin, who describes how he went from ruling the sports world to hitting the rock bottom. That is all for this video. We will be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time.